I'm going to start recording. So I have just pressed record and we're going to get started on this webinar. Some people will come in late, but that's just the way it works. Okay, we've got 37 people in. Fantastic. I hope to see more. 122 actually registered for this webinar. Now, Mazian says no voice. Mazian, everybody else can hear me, so you'll have to check your headphones. Right, let's get started. I will stop at certain points and ask you if you have any questions. But otherwise, I'm just going to push through. I don't want to keep you on this lovely Sunday. Let's get started. So welcome to the webinar. This webinar is on PTE writing. It's on Write Essay, and this is the Secrets for Success series by e2language.com. I have given a webinar before on Write Essay. This one is a little bit different. It has a different focus, okay? We'll get to that in a second. Let's start. So first of all, just a bit of an overview of the PTE Write Essay. So you have 20 minutes in the PTE Write Essay to plan, write, and revise an essay. Now, these are the instructions given by the PTE themselves. They say you have 20 minutes to plan, write, and revise. They don't say you just have 20 minutes to write. Whenever you need to write an essay, you also need to plan it, and after you've written it, you need to revise it. Okay, so a lot of this webinar is going to focus on the planning stage of how to write this essay, because the planning is absolutely critical for your success. If you go into the PTE and you're up to the Write Essay task and you just start writing without a plan, you will find yourself in trouble, okay? If you want to write an effective essay from beginning to end, you have to plan it. And if you want to make sure that you get top marks, you have to revise it. So your response, your essay, is judged on how well you develop a position or taken a stand. What I mean by that is how well you develop your arguments. It's an argumentative essay. You're judged on how well you organize your ideas. So again, back to planning. Without planning, your organization will probably be messy. With planning, you will have good, clean organization. So you get judged on organization. You get judged on how well you present supporting details like examples, your own opinion or something you've read, for example. And the final one that the PTE write is you get judged on how well you control the elements of standard written English. That means your vocabulary, your grammar, your paragraph structure, your overall structure, etc. Any questions on overview or any questions up to now? Somebody says, will this webinar be recorded? And the answer is yes, I am recording it. Any questions on overview so far? Nope. All right, let's push on. Oh, I should mention, you need to write between 200 and 300 words. Now, the types of essay. The PTE Write Essay, luckily for you, is different, easier than the IELTS. Not necessarily easier, but there are fewer types of essays in essay types. In IELTS, you need to do an advantages, disadvantages, an opinion one, for example, descriptive one. In the PTE, you must write an argumentative essay. That's it. There's only one type of essay that you write, and it's an argumentative one. So what that means is that always the question prompt that you receive will be somewhat controversial. The question prompt you receive will have two sides to the argument. It won't be clearly just biased towards one side. It will be some sort of topic that you can write for or against. Okay, so your task is to argue for or against, and we'll get to that when we look at the planning stage. So the type of essay, you may have to respond to a question. You may have to agree or disagree with a particular point of view. You may have to take one of two sides in an argument. You may have to describe a situation, but again, it will be argumentative. You may have to write about the advantages or disadvantages of a particular opinion. So these types of questions all come back to the fact that it's an argumentative essay, okay? At e2language.com, we have a suggested structure for your essay, and I suggest you follow it because I know it works. I used this structure when I took my PTE and I got a 90. Okay, and I have given this structure to many e2language.com students. They have used it, and they have also, the feedback that we have gotten suggests that it is a good structure. Of course, you start with an introduction. You have your argument 1, your for argument, or your agree argument. You have your argument 2, your against argument, or your disagree argument. And then you come to your conclusion, where you sort of balance, or you look at the two arguments and you see which one is stronger than the other. Okay, this is the suggested structure. Now, what we're going to look at a lot in this webinar are these two paragraphs. Planning these two paragraphs is absolutely critical for success. And it's all about organization, a good structure, okay? Well, I shouldn't say all about, but it certainly gets you some points if you have good planning and good organization. So let's look at planning, but before we do, I'm just going to check if there are any questions. Abhishek says, where can we find those recordings? Abhishek, because you are a paid e2language.com member, just send me an email and I will send you a link to all of our archived webinars. So that's good. Unfortunately, if you're not a paid member on e2language.com, we give away, we've got one on YouTube at the moment, but that's it. Maybe I will put this one on YouTube. Sumit says the word count has to be around 230. Sumit, the word count has to be between 200 and 300. It does not matter if you write 201. It does not matter if you write 299. I will get to the scoring in a second. Sumit says, is it possible that if we write 300 words, then we might not get the good score? Again, I will get to that. Abhishek says, do we need to take a clear stand? We will get to that. Can we argue both ways? We will get to that. Okay, I think I'm about to answer all of those questions. Right, planning. Absolutely critical. I have to tell you a little story. Even though I'm an English teacher, and even though I have a master's degree in applied linguistics, and even though I teach PTE all day long, when I did my PTE, I was so nervous and so overwhelmed by the situation that I got my essay prompt, I just started typing. And you know what happened? I got about 5 minutes in and I thought, this is garbage. I need to delete all of this and start again. So I picked up my noteboard booklet and I planned my essay. It took me 2 or 3 minutes. I started typing again and it was so much clearer than before. It's absolutely critical to plan. Let's have a look. The importance of planning. Let me demonstrate to you how important it is to plan. Okay, I'll ask you a little question. So you're going to visit a friend at his new house. Okay, you have a friend and he's just moved. You don't know where his house is. You have 20 minutes to get there. You have 20 minutes to reach your new friend's house. Okay, and you have no idea where it is. Do you, A, start driving and hope that one day you will reach his house? Or B, do you drive around for a while and then think, where is his house, and check the map? Or C, do you check the map before you leave so you know exactly where to go as efficiently as possible? Please type your answer into the question bar. This is not a joke. Well, it's a kind of joke, but everyone knows that it's C. But even though we would do this if we're driving a car, of course we would plan before we leave because we want to get to a destination. It's the same thing with writing an essay. You want to get to a conclusion and you have to plan. You don't just start writing and hope for the best, like A, or you don't start writing and then do what I did and delete everything and start again. You should plan first. So of course the answer is C. You check the map before you leave so you know exactly where to go as efficiently as possible. You must plan before you write. Here's how you plan. So you have your noteboard booklet, and the first thing you do is you look at that question prompt and you pull out the main topic. What's it about? And you write that right in the middle of your page. Okay? You write the main topic of the question prompt. Maybe it's about global warming. Maybe it's about public transport. Maybe it's about the health system or whatever. You pull out those keywords, usually just a couple of keywords, and you write it smack bang in the middle of your page. So it's staring you in the face so you don't forget what that topic is. Then you write in a couple of words your for argument. Remember, this is an argumentative essay, so you should be for something. You don't have to be for something, but I suggest you do a for and against type essay. Then you write your for argument number 2. Then you write your for argument number 3. Again, just a couple of words for each. This plan should only take you 2 or 3 minutes max. Then below the line, you write your against argument number 1. You're brainstorming. You're thinking of ideas. You're not writing paragraphs. You're just writing down keywords for the ideas. And you're against argument 2. And you're against argument 3. And this is what your plan will look like. Then, when you have planned like this, you're ready to start writing paragraph 1. Let me show you what it looks like on paper, and please excuse both my handwriting and the quality of the photograph. But this is what your noteboard booklet should look like. You write the topic smack bang in the middle so you do not forget what it is because content is critical. You write your 3 for arguments above the line. You write your 3 against arguments below the line. Then you're ready to start writing your first for paragraph. Then you write your against paragraph. Let's put this into practice. I'll show you exactly what I mean. Okay, so let's read this question prompt. This is an example, a type of question you might receive for write essay in the PTE. It's becoming increasingly popular to have a year off between finishing high school and going to university. Some people believe that the year off is a waste of time, while others believe that it's worthwhile. Choose which position you most agree with and discuss why you chose that position. Support your point of view with details from your own experiences, observations, or reading. What's the topic? First thing you do, year off after high school, year off after high school, or gap year. That's the topic. That's the topic. And you write your 4 arguments. For example, year off after high school, I'm for that because it's good for travel. I'm for that because it's good for work experience. I'm for having a year off after high school because you can save money. Okay, so I've just written 1 or 2 words, my 4 arguments. Year off after high school. And then I write my against arguments. Oh, sorry, let me go to this one. You may become lazy. Okay, if you have a year off after high school, you may lose study skills. It could be dangerous to have a year off after high school. For example, if you go traveling in some crazy country. Okay, Now you can see what's happening here. It took me 2 minutes to plan this, and I can see, first of all, I can see my paragraphs. Here are my paragraphs. Paragraph 1, where I will talk about travel, how work experience, and how you could save money. They're my 4 arguments. My second paragraph are my against arguments, why students should not take a year off, because they may become lazy, they may lose study skills, it could be dangerous for them. But that's important, but also what's important here is I can almost see my conclusion already. For me, I will conclude that it's a good idea to take a year off after high school. Why? Because these arguments outweigh these arguments here. So in essence, on this piece of paper from 2 minutes of planning, I have my essay written. Or at least I have the ideas there. All I need to do now is transfer them into paragraphs, put in conclusion, put an introduction, and I have an excellent structure. And I have also included content that is relevant to the prompt. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right, everyone looks okay. That's good. I'm going to give you the chance to do this now. Oh, and as I said, it becomes paragraph 1, paragraph 2. We'll get to that in more detail in a second. Now I want you to plan an essay. So please take out a pen and paper. If you need to run to the kitchen to get one or run to your bedroom, do it. I want you to participate in this. I want you to practice. If you have a pen and paper, that's good. We can start. Let's read this topic prompt, this question prompt. It says, with the rise of ebooks comes the decline in paper books. Some people see the rise of ebooks as a good step forward, while others do not. Choose which position you most agree with and discuss why you chose that position. Support your point of view with details from your own experiences, observations, or reading. It's critical. The first thing we need to do is, what is the topic here? What is the topic? What are you going to write smack bang in the middle of your page to remind you of the topic? What is the topic? Should be written like that. Let's go back to the what's the topic? What's the topic? Let's have a look. I want you guys to write into the question bar what the topic is. Sorry, Ningding has asked, so we don't need to have an introduction paragraph at the beginning of the essay. Ningding, yes, you do. But what I'm suggesting is that you plan paragraph 1 and you plan paragraph 2 first. I know that sounds unintuitive. It sounds like a crazy idea, but trust me, it is the best way to write an essay. Because it's only after you have brainstormed your ideas, it's only after you have come up with your arguments that you can have a conclusion. Okay? Or you can have an introduction. Because what will you introduce if you don't know what you're going to introduce? Okay, so we'll get to that in more detail in a second. Okay, any more questions? Okay, Tan Lee says that the topic of this question is ebook. I think we need something a little bit more. Yes, Vinod says rise of ebook. I agree. I agree with you. Rise of ebook. If we just had ebook, I don't think we would, our for arguments or our against arguments would really hit the nail on the head, would really be precise. I think you need to really think of the topic, not just ebooks, but the rise of ebooks is the topic here. Okay, Ijaz says ebooks rise, paper books decrease. That's good. Okay, Abhishek's already gone ahead and done his 4 arguments. Just hold your horses there, Abhishek. I want to see them in a second. Srijana says the rise of ebooks comes the decline in paper books. That's fine. Javitha says rise of ebooks. Pratik says ebooks versus paper books. Yeah, yep. Okay. Rise of ebooks. Okay, excellent. Okay, you guys have got it. So let's look what I have put here. Topic, rise of ebooks. That's the essence of this question prompt. That is the essence of the question prompt. And you want to write the essence of the question prompt right there in the middle of the page, because you need to be constantly reminded of that essence. Then and only then will you stay on track with your essay and not write off topic. Next, can you please come up with your 4 arguments for the rise of ebooks? What are 3 arguments as to why ebooks, the rise of ebooks is a good thing? Let's see what people have got. Oh, Abhishek's one step ahead. He's already written his against arguments. I'm going to go back to yours, Abhishek. Let's see what you wrote in your 4 arguments. Abhishek says they're eco-friendly. Good, well done. Reduces production cost. Excellent. And saves paper. Well, yeah, good. Quite similar though. Quite similar, but not bad. Pratik says ebooks are easy to carry. That's a great argument. I like that. That's good. Hayne says they're everywhere. Yeah, be a bit more specific, Hayne. Vinnod says lightweight to carry. Vimal says reduces deforestation. That's a strong argument. Okay. Hina says saves time, saves money, convenient. That's good. Shadi says easy access, environmentally friendly. Good, well done. Hemendra says easily available, saves paper, no need to carry. Good 3 arguments, well done. Paper saving. Srijana says advanced technology. Yeah, the technology will continue to evolve. That's good. Ravi says easily accessible and available. Excellent. Vimal says easy to refer to. Portability, says Sumit. That's a nice word. Well done. You've reduced it down into a single word, which I think is a good thing to do. Serbi says environmentally friendly. Good. Hayne says ebooks are social. Okay, yep, good. Well done. Sandeep says something about storage, which is excellent. I know on my Kindle, I have about 300 books on my Kindle. So storage, that's right. Low cost, accessibility. Yes, easy to share on multiple devices, more accessible. Okay, you guys have got it. Cheaper than paper. Yes, that's right. Ebooks are cheaper. You guys have got it. Well done. Let's look at the next. Let's look at what I wrote. And of course, if my answers are different to yours, that's fine. I think it's easier to get ebooks. It's a very simple process. You just go to the website, you click download, you pay your $10, and then you've got your book instantly. So instant access. That's always good. Better than going to the library, and it beats paper-based books because of that reason. Better for the environment? Well, possibly. I think so. Easier to publish. Yeah, if you're an author, easy to publish ebooks. Anybody can become an author. You don't need to go through the whole editing, whatever goes on there. Good. Let's do the against arguments now, and I hope you've still got your piece of paper. Let's do the against ebooks. What's wrong with ebooks? Why are ebooks bad? Why are ebooks bad? Why are not bad? I suppose that's wrong, but what are your against ebooks? Abhishek says paper is easier to access. You don't need a computer. Remote areas, readers enjoy traditional books rather than ebooks. Good, Abhishek. When you're planning, Abhishek, make sure you just use a single word or a couple of words. You don't want to write sentences. You just want to write enough to prompt your memory so that you can, when you're writing your paragraph, you can elaborate more, okay? Rajneesh says, complex, not friendly, not fit for everyone. Yeah, good. I'm sure you know what that means a bit more. Certainly for older people, I think they enjoy paper-based books more than digital books or e-books. Female says increase electronic waste. Well, that's right. I wonder how many Kindles are sitting in people's drawers, never used. Pratik says constrain eyes, thus causing health issues. Yeah, yep, good. That's fine. Srijana, everybody can't afford to buy. That's right. You need the device, don't you? So that's affordability would be a good word. Costly, says Vimal. Well, yes, the device is costly. Okay, eye strain. Pratik says you don't have the touch and feel that you do with a paper-based book. That's a good one. A lot of people are interested in the tactile nature of the book. Hemendra says you need internet connection. Correct. You can't take your iPad camping. Well, yeah, maybe you can. Sandeep says the battery can die at any time. That is absolutely true. Books don't really die, do they? Okay, Cadus delight. Oh, enjoyment factor. All right. Well done. Good. And Sandeep finally says piracy will be more. Yes. Good. So you've done your first plan. What I wrote was it's easier to read on paper, I think, anyway. I prefer reading books on paper. The other thing is paper books, well, they don't last forever. That's a bit inaccurate. Paper books last decades or centuries. Paper books last longer would be a more accurate thing to say. And also, there are more titles available on paper. Okay, so that's my plan. Okay, that took me, 2 minutes. 2 minutes to sit there and think critically and to write down 7 things. First thing I wrote down was the topic, smack bang in the middle of the page. So I would not deviate from the topic. And then I wrote my first 4 argument, that it's easier to get ebooks, easier to download, it's more convenient. I also wrote that it's better for the environment, ebooks are better for the environment, less paper wastage, etc. And it's easier for authors to publish ebooks rather than having to be real authors. Okay, and there's my paragraph 1. Written, planned, and then I just write it. Rise of ebooks against. It's easier to read on paper. Paper books last longer, and there are more titles available on paper compared to ebooks. There's my paragraph 2. And it's a solid paragraph. It's a strong paragraph. Why? Because I have planned. I haven't just started writing with no clear destination. I've planned it. Okay? That becomes my paragraph 1. That becomes my paragraph 2. Right. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. Here is the next essay question prompt. I want you to get a new piece of paper and I want you to do the same thing. I want you to write the topic, smack bang in the middle. I want you to write 3-4 arguments above the topic. I want you to write 3 against arguments below the topic. Let me read the question prompt. It says, essay writing is the most commonly used form of assessment at university. Some people think that essay writing does not increase learner outcomes, while others think that it is an effective form of assessment. Choose which position you most agree with and discuss why you chose that position. Support your point of view with details from your own experiences, observations, or reading. So, the first thing you'll need to do on your piece of paper is write down the prompt, the topic. the topic. Then I want 3 for arguments and 3 against arguments. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do this, okay? Starting now. If anyone has any questions, they can type them in and I'll reply to you, but otherwise keep planning. Okay, we've got some good topics coming through. Pranay says effectiveness of essay writing, which I think is good. Ijan says essay writing as a form of assessment, good. Mohammed said essay writing, but I think that's not descriptive enough. Sumit says essay writing is a correct way of assessment, or just a good type of assessment. Amar says outcomes of essay writing, good. That's good, Amar, well done, I like that one. Okay, Ivy, I think the question, Ivy, is more about effectiveness rather than most commonly used. Effectiveness. It's quite critical that you get this topic right because it will dictate the way that you write. Okay, now that you have your topic, I want you to write your for arguments and your against arguments. I think that's been 2 minutes, but Abhishek, does essay capture all the qualities of an individual? Abhishek, I think that's a bit off topic. Make sure you stick to the prompt. Make sure you stick to the question prompt. Because if you start writing about something that's not related to the question prompt, you will lose points for content. It's absolutely critical that you nail the question prompt. All right. Anyway, I hope you guys have got something written down there. What I wrote was this. I wrote my topic. I wrote essay writing effectiveness. Okay? Not just essay writing, not just effectiveness, but essay writing effectiveness. Okay? My 4 arguments for essay writing are: it improves research skills, it improves writing skills, it improves critical thinking skills. My against argument for essay writing effectiveness is that it takes a long time to complete an essay. It's usually not collaborative, as in it's usually just one student working on his or her essay, not as a team. Okay, so that's a point against essay writing. And you can easily plagiarize an essay. That's another point against it. Okay, so now in 2 minutes, I've come up with 3 for, 3 against, and they become my paragraph 1, and they become my paragraph 2. Okay? I won't check yours because we probably don't have time, but I'm sure yours are good. Actually, Pratik has a good against. She said there could be marker's bias while assessing an essay. I guess the good thing about the PTE is it's marked by a computer, so there's definitely no bias there. It doesn't matter who you are or what day it is, the computer is going to mark your essay the same, so that's a good thing. All right. So as we talked about, you need this structure: introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, conclusion. This should be the structure of your essay. But you write your paragraphs first. Why is that? You must understand your arguments before you can come to a conclusion, or write an introduction. You must understand your arguments before you can come to a conclusion or write an introduction. Let me explain. When you look at a question prompt, you need to think what your arguments will be, and they are your two paragraphs, your arguments for and your arguments against. If you move directly from the question prompt and start at the introduction without planning, you don't know where you're going. It's like getting in the car and you just start driving. Okay? But if you plan first and you do your for and you do your against, you know what your paragraph 1 is, you know what your paragraph 2 is, and you can look at the two arguments and see which one is stronger. Only when you know which argument is stronger, for example, are ebooks better than paper-based books, then you can write your conclusion, and then you can write your introduction. Again, I know it sounds a little bit unintuitive, but this is how you write a good essay. Again, the writing sequence, the structure of your, the sequence for writing, how you write it on the computer in the PTE. You start with paragraph 1, then you write paragraph 2, your against paragraph, then you write your conclusion, because you can write your conclusion after you weigh these two arguments against each other. You can write the conclusion, then you write your introduction. Now, of course, you don't leave it like that because there's an essay structure, and the essay structure is introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, conclusion. So let me go back. The sequence for planning and writing is this. You plan, then you write your paragraph 1 onto the computer. Then you write your paragraph 2 onto the computer, straight from your plan into the paragraph on the computer. Only after you have written paragraphs 1 and 2 can you weigh up the arguments to come up with a conclusion. So you write your conclusion third. Then you write your introduction, because it's only after you have written your conclusion that you can write your introduction, introduce what you're going to talk about in paragraph 1 and 2, but the actual structure, your final structure, should look like this: the introduction, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and the conclusion. Does anybody have any questions, or do you think I'm completely crazy? Sumit's got a question about personal opinion. You put that in the conclusion, Sumit. You put your personal opinion in the conclusion, and you only use your opinion once with an I statement. In conclusion, I think that blah, 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 and you can only come up with your conclusion after you have weighed up your arguments. Mohammed says, how many paragraphs would be the standard for an essay? Mohammed, this structure, I believe, should be standard. This is the structure that I used in the PTE, and I wrote between 200 and 300 words, and I scored a 90. And it makes sense that it's this structure because they want you to look at the topic, they want you to come up with the for arguments, they want you to come up with the against arguments, and they want you to show critical thinking skills. That's what you get marked for content. Shadi says, so my opinion should be part of the conclusion. Is this correct? Yes, Shadi. We'll look at the conclusion in a second. I've got a slide on that. Vinod says, should the personal opinion be written as a first person? Yes. If you look at the question prompt, it says use, I can't remember exactly, but use your own opinion, your own observations from reading, etc. I think a good practice is to include one sentence where you use the first person I. And I think that sentence should go in the conclusion. Because here you introduce your two arguments. Okay, you introduce paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. You tell the reader what you're going to write about. In this essay, I will talk about the for arguments and the against arguments. Here are the for arguments. here are the against arguments. In conclusion, I believe that paragraph 2, or the against arguments, outweigh the for arguments. So the I statement should be included in the conclusion. We'll look at that in more detail in a second. Abhishek says, can we use I in the introduction? Yeah, you can, but I suggest only using an I sentence once. You don't want to fill your essay with I think this and I think that. It's not good practice. So one I sentence, one I statement is enough. Pratik says, should the conclusion always include our final stand, whether we agree or disagree with the argument? Yes, Pratik. Absolutely. In the conclusion, you come to a conclusion. So it should include your final stand about whether you think the for arguments win or whether you think the against arguments win. Amar says, can we write only supporting the topic instead of against? Amar, I suggest you look at both sides of the argument. If you look at both sides of the argument, it shows that you have critical thinking skills and you'll get marked highly for content. So please follow this structure with a for paragraph and against paragraph. Now, I should say, sometimes you will not be able to come up with 3 ideas for for or 3 ideas for against, and maybe you come up with 3 for and only 2 against. That's okay. That's okay. And maybe you can think of 3 fors and only 1 against. That's okay. That's okay. And that probably means that the for argument will win, and that's what you conclude with. Okay, that's worth mentioning. Sindhu says, do we need to take 2 sides of the topic? Yes, please take both sides. Look at both sides of the argument. Muhammad says, can I add 1 paragraph of refutation? Well, this is the refutation, the against argument here. Pranay says examples. Yes, you must use examples. Okay, so when we're looking at this one in regards to ebooks, for example, you introduce the topic. In this essay, this essay will look at the reasons why there is a rise in ebooks. Ebooks are far more convenient than paper-based books. For example, downloading, I'm trying to make this essay up as I go, but you would use for example. Okay, you use examples. For example, it is much easier to download an ebook from the computer in an instant than it is to go to the library and borrow one. Okay, so yes, you put your examples in. Now, Janusa has a very interesting question. She said, should there be an indentation in the first sentence? No, Janus. Just make sure, no indentations, make sure you have a line between your paragraphs, okay? Muhammad says, how many marks are assigned to paragraphs? We'll look at that in a second. Sindhu says, can I say my opinion? Yes, Sindhu. The conclusion. Although there is a rise of ebooks, there are many good arguments for why paper-based books should remain. In my opinion, I think that, or in my opinion, paper-based books are better than ebooks because of blah, blah, blah. Yes, you must include your opinion. Now, Vimal says, how many words should be written standard in each paragraph? Well, if you're writing between 200 and 300, you do the mathematics here. You're probably better than me at mathematics, but you want your paragraphs to be about 75 to 100 words, I think. Maybe 75 words each, so that's 150. Then you want 50 here and 50 here, something like that. So 50 words for your introduction, 75 for your paragraph 1, 75 for your paragraph 2, and about 50 words to conclude. So that's, roughly. Janus says, how many sentences can we write in one paragraph? Well, Janus, Write according to your plan. So, but that doesn't mean just 3 sentences. That you can elaborate, you can include examples, you can extrapolate, you can. There's no rule, Janus. There's no rule, but I suggest about 75 words for your body paragraphs. Srijana says, what about in a problem solution essay? Srijana, there is no such essay in the PTE, just an argumentative essay. Karinjit says, what could be the conclusion of an advantage and disadvantage essay? Well, let's do the ebook one. This essay will look at the reasons why ebooks are on the rise, blah, blah, blah. Paragraph 1, 4. Ebooks are convenient, they're portable, and they're cheap. Paper-based books are heavy, they are time-consuming, and you can't share them easily. In conclusion, I believe that ebooks are better because of the above-mentioned reasons. Something like that. That's the conclusion. Srijana says, do we follow the same structure? Yes. That's why I'm giving you this webinar. I've taken the PTE, I used this structure, and I got 90. I suggest that you use it too. Don't come up with your own structure. Unless you are a master's grad in linguistics and you know how to do that, I suggest you use these ones. The methods that we create at e2language.com are effective. They work. All right, I'm going to move on. There are more questions, but we're going to get stuck here forever. Let's move on. Now, we talked about planning. Now we need to talk about writing, and I'm going to whip through these very quickly because we've nearly talked for an hour already. Writing, here we go. Secret number 1, content. Stay on topic. Write to the question prompt. This is absolutely critical. Here's how you're scored for your essay. You get 3 points if you address the topic. You get 2 points if you address the topic but you miss an aspect. That's why it's so important to write that topic right in the middle of the page and get it right. You get 1 point if you address the topic but you miss more than one aspect, or you miss a major aspect, or if you write off topic, and you get 0 points if you do not address the topic. Okay, so it's 3 points there. You can get 3 points if you use the planning method I've described. Make sure that you write about the topic in the question prompt. Use words directly from the question prompt throughout your essay. Use synonyms, words that are similar in meaning. Ebooks, you could use digital books, for example. Efficiency, you could say time saving. Lightweight, you could say portability. These are synonyms, okay? Use synonyms from the question prompt throughout your essay. Secret 2, length. Write between 200 and 300 words. You can write 201, you can write 299, that's fine. Don't write 199, don't write 301. Here's how you're scored on length. You get 2 points if you write between 200 and 300 words. You get 1 point if you write between 120 and 199, or 301 and 380. And you get 0 points if you write less than 120 or more than 380. You also get 0 points if your essay contains no punctuation. If you do not use capital letters and full stops, you will get 0. Secret number 3, organization. And this is why I'm so big on planning essays. Organize your writing. You get 2 points, You get 2 points if you show a good development and a logical structure. And that's what the plan is all about. You have a for paragraph, you have an against paragraph, you have an introduction and a conclusion. That is good development, and that is logical structure. You will get 2 points. You get 1 point if your essay is not well structured, if it's just a mixture of different ideas and you didn't plan, you just got in the car and you started driving without thinking of your destination, you'll get 1 point. Or even worse, you got in the car and you never actually made it to your friend's house. You may still be out there somewhere. Again, plan and organize your writing. You must develop your ideas in a logical way. You must create a plan of your writing. The plan is paragraph 1, paragraph 2, you write your conclusion, you write your introduction. Then you swap it around on the screen so it has the correct structure. Introduction. All right. Let's just take a little breather because I'm about to tell you something important. I'm just going to check the questions. Sumit says, do we need to use words like firstly, secondly, and thirdly in the paragraphs? Yes, Sumit. Organizing words, linking words, discourse markers like firstly, secondly, therefore, in addition, however, as a result, etc. They are important because they help with the structure of your paragraphs. However, only use them if they fit. Don't just use however if you are not contrasting something. Okay? Hongyi says, do you need to provide examples for all the ideas? Yeah, I suggest not all of the ideas, Hongyi, but examples and explanations and elaboration. This is what develops a good idea. Okay, so you say something about ebooks being portable, for example, and then you talk about how they're lightweight. You talk about how you can store 200 to 500 books on an ebook. You're developing your ideas. For example, stuff like that. Muhammad says, should we use complex sentence structures or simple sentences are okay? Can we use idioms as well? All right. Yes, Muhammad, I suggest a mixture of complex sentences and some simple sentences. Idioms, now they say in the score guide that you should use idioms, but I think what that means is academic idioms. You don't want to mention that it's raining cats and dogs in your essay. More like academic idioms such as the evidence is based on blah, or according to research. These are academic idioms or academic phrases. Sid says, Jay, will you give an example of an introduction of an essay? Is there any specific format for it? Sid, thanks for asking that question. That's exactly where we're at now. Let's have a look. Organize your writing. Introduction. Tell the reader what your 2 arguments will be. That's your introduction. That's what you do. You tell the reader what your 2 arguments will be. Paragraph 1, you tell them the 4 arguments. Paragraph 2, you tell them the against arguments. In the conclusion, you tell the reader what your 2 arguments were, and here's your opinion, which one you think is best. This is really a critical slide. I'm going to go through it again, actually. I really want you guys to see this because it's actually very simple. You can make your essay writing very simple. It doesn't need to be a complex maze. Introduction. Tell the reader what your 2 arguments will be. You're introducing your 2 arguments to the reader. This essay will describe blah, 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 blah. Talk about your 4 arguments. Ebooks are good because of X, Y, and Z. Talk about your against arguments. Ebooks are not good because of A, B, and C. Conclude. Tell the reader what your 2 arguments were. You had the X, Y, and Z and the A, B, C. Which one you think is best? I believe that X, Y, Z is best. This is how you write an essay. This is the structure. This is the function of the essay. Now, it's critical to look at these 2 parts because in the introduction, you tell the reader what your 2 arguments will be. In the conclusion, you tell the reader what your 2 arguments were. Can you see the verb difference there? You're introducing. This essay will look at. Conclusion, this essay looked at. critical. Introduction. Tell the reader what your two arguments will be. This essay will compare ebooks with paper-based books, blah, 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 blah. This essay will describe the reasons why ebooks are superior to paper-based books. This essay will discuss the pros and cons of ebooks. Okay? Obviously, it won't be a single sentence, it will be a paragraph. You can briefly mention your two arguments. Again, in the introduction, you tell the reader what your two arguments will be, and you briefly mention them. Paragraph 1, you talk about your for argument. There are several reasons why X is effective, or ebooks are better than paper-based books. Paragraph 2, against. Despite the above, there are several reasons why ebooks are worse than paper-based books. Conclusion. Tell the reader what your two arguments were and what you think. This essay compared ebooks with paper-based books. It is clear that ebooks are superior to paper-based books because of X, Y, Z. So it's very repetitive. In the introduction, you introduce what your two arguments will be. You briefly mention them. Then you mention them in detail in paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. And in the conclusion, you repeat them again briefly and come up with your opinion or what the conclusion is. Let's have a look if anybody... Oh my God, you guys are still here. Unbelievable. Amar says, is there any common structure to start with for essay? Amar, this is the common structure. This is the e2language.com structure, and this structure works. Ningding says, is it possible to just copy the topic question in the introduction, or we need to paraphrase? Ningding, paraphrase. Paraphrase. Good question. So the Ningding's question was, with the question prompt, you know, the question that makes you write, do you copy that? No, you paraphrase it. Submit. Okay, Shadi, can we use on the one hand, on the other hand? As I said, Shadi, only use on the one hand, on the other hand, if it fits. And thinking about it now, the for arguments and the against arguments, this kind of fits. Good question. Serby says, can you show a sample answer of an essay? Unfortunately, I don't have one with me, Serby, but I could probably just type one off the top of my head, but it might, look, not this time, Serby, maybe next time. Okay. Ijaz says, do you need a general statement in the introduction? Well, a general statement. Well, let's go back. Let's go back and look at the introduction. Let's go back. I wouldn't mind going through this again with you guys. Introduction. Tell the reader what your two arguments will be. This essay will compare ebooks with paper-based books and will show the reasons why ebooks are superior because they are more portable, they are more efficient, and they are cheaper. Paragraph 1, 4. As mentioned, ebooks are portable. They can be carried around in backpacks. They are very small. The storage is high. You can fit 200 ebooks on a single little book that you can carry around with you, and it's great to go traveling with. They are also cheaper than paper-based books, and you can download them instantly. Paragraph 2, reasons against. Despite these reasons, paperback books are still very good. For example, older people can't use digital e-based books. Paper-based books also last longer than e-books. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Plus, with a paper-based book, the batteries never run out, so you never need to worry about that. In conclusion, this essay looked at the reasons why, or compared ebooks with paper-based books. It is clear that ebooks, the advantages for ebooks outweigh the disadvantages and in some, they are superior to paper-based books. There you go, there's an essay for you. Right, let me just check. I'm about to talk about grammar. Vinod says, is it good to start as this essay will? Yes, Vinod, absolutely. This essay will describe. This essay will compare. This essay will discuss. That's a good starting point. Ruskin says, most of the time I'm out of good ideas to write them when I'm writing. What can I do? Oh my God, Ruskin, did you not see the beginning of this lecture? It's all about planning. That's another point why planning is so critical, because if you start to write and you run out of ideas, your essay turns to rubbish very quickly. If you plan before you write, your ideas, you spend that 2 or 3 minutes getting your ideas out of your head onto the page. Then when you write, you don't have to worry about creating ideas because you have already had the ideas. Then you're just worrying about writing it properly. And that brings me to grammar. Use good grammar. This is secret number 4, and this is easier than it sounds. Grammar is very complex, and I sympathize with people who are studying English because it is not an easy language in terms of grammar. There are harder languages, but it is still hard. Use good grammar. You will get 2 points, put simply, if you have perfect grammar. You'll get 1 point if you make grammar mistakes, and you'll get 0 points if you make basic mistakes and you only use simple sentences. On e2language.com, we have over 200 video-based grammar lessons. It is boring learning grammar from a textbook. I completely understand. I have tried to do it with other languages. It is much more enjoyable to sit back and have somebody like Elliot teach you grammar. Not only that, these videos that we have produced are interactive because you can answer questions as you watch and you can track your learning. It's the best way to learn grammar, I think. Any questions on grammar? Any questions on grammar? Sorry, Rukshan's actually got a good question referring back to content. I'm going to answer it because it's worth answering it. He asked, how does the PTE computer know if we are on topic? It is absolutely critical to write about the topic because the computer, and to use words from the prompt and use synonyms from the prompt, because the computer knows or is programmed with thousands and thousands of essays. And if you are writing off topic, if the essay asks you to write about e-books versus paper-based books, and you start writing an essay about soccer, the computer will pick up those keywords and give you a 0. Okay, 0 for content. Okay. Okay, I'm just reading through the questions here. Shazia says, marking pattern, how does the computer mark the essay? The computer marks the essay like a person marks the essay. If I give you an essay, Shazia, or a question, and the question's about ebooks, the rise of ebooks and paper-based books, and the decline of paper-based books, first thing I look for is, did you answer the topic? Did you write about that topic? Second thing I look for is, did you use good grammar, good structure? Was your essay well organized? Okay, so the computer uses the same sorts of assessment criteria that the human examiners do. However, as I said, it's a lot less biased because, well, look, I won't go into it, but it works. It works. Sumit says, Jay, as I am a paid member, yes you are, Sumit, can you please send me the archived link for all the webinars? Sumit, please send me an email and I will send you the link for the archived webinars. Okay, Pranay says, how do we improve our knowledge of collocations? Okay, fantastic. And this is where we're at right now. Secret number 5, precision. Being precise. Use collocations. Let me show you what collocations are first. This is a collocation word list. If you sign up to e2language.com, this is the first thing you get in that introductory email. You get the complete list. A collocation is, these are academic collocations. They are 2 words, usually 2 words that come together very often to form a word pair. For example, abstract concept or academic achievement, okay, or academic discourse. This is just the A's. There are thousands of these. When you use these, this is what makes your writing precise. I won't go into the details here, but it's what makes your writing precise. Any questions? Or I'm going to move on. What have we got? What have we got? Khalid says, can I type numbers into my essay like 100 or 200? Yes, yes you can, absolutely. Yes, especially if the prompt says something about a number, you should include it. Or yes, you can use numerals, in other words. Secret number 6, vocabulary. Use a variety of vocabulary. 2, you get 2 points if you have a great knowledge of vocabulary and use it correctly. Here is the point about idiomatic expressions. Now here it's talking about academic idioms, not kicking the bucket and raining cats and dogs. You don't want to put that into your essay. You want to use academic vocabulary, especially those collocations I showed you. If your vocabulary is okay, you will get 1 point. If you have very poor vocabulary or you cannot describe something in detail, you will get 0 points. Secret number 7 is about spelling. Don't make spelling mistakes. Spell words correctly. You get 2 points if you spell everything correctly. You get 1 point if you spell one thing wrong, and you get 0 points if you have more than one spelling error. Let's look again at the overview of what you have to do in the PTE Write essay. You have 20 minutes to plan, write, and revise an essay. We have looked at planning. We have looked extensively at planning, and I hope you took some notes, because it's critical that you plan. They suggest, the PTE suggests that in your 20 minutes, you spend some time on planning, and I do too. 2 or 3 minutes is all it takes, and all of a sudden, you have direction. Writing, we just went through all the different parts of writing, such as content, and grammar, and vocabulary, and collocations, and punctuation, etc. We're now going to look at revising, revision, the importance of revising. And again, they suggest in the 20 minutes, you should spend some time revising. It's not just 20 minutes to write. That's incorrect. You need to plan, write, and then revise. Secret number 8, revise. Revise your essay again and again and again. What do I mean by that? I mean proofread it. Is your essay on the topic? Did you use words from the prompt in your introduction and throughout your essay? Are you writing to the topic? This is critical. Did you write between 200 and 300 words? If you wrote less, you will lose a point. If you wrote more, you will lose a point. Did you organize your writing? Well, that depends if you planned it. If you planned it, it will be organized. If you didn't plan, it won't be organized. Did you use good grammar? You must proofread. If you know that you have weaknesses with verbs, you should go through and check your verbs. Better than that though, before you actually do your PTE, you should go to e2language.com and revise your grammar. Did you use academic collocations? Well, if you don't have the list, it's a bit tricky. Did you use a variety of vocabulary? Is your vocabulary precise? Can you describe something in detail? Do you have to, compared to your first language, do you have to restrain yourself? Or can you describe something in detail easily? Did you make any spelling mistakes? That's a joke, by the way. There's a trick there. Did you proofread? Did you revise your essay 3 times? Critical that you read through, you read through, you read through. Spelling mistakes. Now, just before we go to the closing Q&A, again, here's my report card. I'm an English teacher from e2language.com. I am one of the English teachers. I've taken the PTE and I scored straight 90s. Okay, and I scored 90 in writing and vocabulary, 88, written discourse, 90. Unfortunately, my spelling was down, but who knows what that was. Let's stop here. Any questions? Any questions before we move on? Pratik says, could you give me any final suggestions as I'm taking my PTE on Thursday? Pratik, you still have time. I suggest signing up to e2language.com. If writing is your weakness, what you do is you submit an essay through e2language.com. We meet you online and we actually do live correction. So we look at the content, we look at the grammar, we look at the vocabulary with you there, and we tell you how to improve. Mazin says, can I use metaphor? Well, it depends, Mazin. It depends. Khaled says, does the computer understand wrong spelled words in the content evaluation? Absolutely does, Khaled. Just like Microsoft Word understands when you have misspelled something. Khalid says, what are the common essay topics about? Khalid, there are thousands of essay topics. I have no idea which one you will receive, unfortunately. Sid says, what is written discourse? Good question, Sid. Written discourse refers to organization in terms of both at the sentence level, how good your grammar is. It also refers to the paragraph level, how well you organize your paragraphs. Your paragraphs should contain a logical structure with a topic sentence, and there should be elaboration, example, and a closing sentence. Written discourse also refers to your overall essay. Do you have an introduction? Do you have a body 1, a body 2, and a conclusion? Good question, Sid. A few people are asking me about reading webinars. And yeah, okay, look, maybe next week I'll do a reading webinar. Of course, on e2language.com, if you upgrade, you get access to the reading practice. Or you can have a tutorial on reading with me or with one of the other teachers. Abhishek to us about pronunciation. Abhishek, I hope you are a paid member. You should have downloaded E2 Pronounce, our app. Vinod asks about spelling between British and American. They are both considered correct in the PTE. So did Serbi. We both asked the same question at the same time. Abhishek says, can we use Windows speech recognition to improve pronunciation? Abhishek, e2language.com has an app called E2 Pronounce. Download it because you're a paid member, you have access, and it has a dictionary of 80,000 words, and it refines your pronunciation. It teaches you how to pronounce correctly. Okay. We're not finished yet. Just hold on the line for a little bit longer. I want to talk to you about the best way to prepare for the PTE. A lot of people don't know how to prepare. A lot of people are very confused. A lot of people fail the PTE many times, and it's sad to see. The reason they fail is because they don't prepare properly. This is the PTE preparation cycle developed by e2language.com. You start with skill building, your fundamental skill building, okay? That means building your vocabulary, your collocations. means improving your grammar by watching more than our 200 video lessons on grammar. It means increasing your essay writing skills. We have 55 video lessons on how to write an essay, okay? Using the structure I have talked about today. Test strategy. Well, this webinar is an example of test strategy. It's 1/4 of the importance. It is important, but not. No, it's important, okay? But so is skill building. Test practice. Well, on e2language.com, as I said, we have essays just like the PTE, where you submit your answer. But more importantly than test practice, or as important, is expert feedback. Okay, without feedback, you submit an essay and you'll get maybe 9 out of 13. This is a good essay, by the way. You'll get maybe 9 out of 13 if you're good. With 40 minutes of expert feedback, where we do live correction, we can improve your score. Here's me teaching Miguel, a PTE student, on Skype, live correcting his work, teaching him about content, teaching him about grammar, his particular weaknesses. We can boost your scores. I won't say to 100%, but we can definitely boost your scores, okay? Feedback is critical. So I suggest, if you're serious about passing your PTE, if you don't want to fail, I suggest that you upgrade so you can get personalized feedback. And if your writing is a particular weakness, that is where we are particularly strong. Okay, so we can improve your writing rapidly. Let's go to final questions now. Okay, people are asking about reading webinars. They will come up next week, okay? Nishant says, if we access the E2 language, would you provide the PTE material? Yes, we've got a full PTE test that you can practice. Not only that, after you take a tutorial, we have a full test bank where we refer you to have, we teach you the methods, then we give you the practice. So in the tutorials, you learn the methods. We teach you the methods. Then you go out by yourself and you do the practice yourself. So what we can do in 40 minutes is quite remarkable. Yes, Nishant, e2language.com is 100% online. So it doesn't matter if you're in Bangladesh or India or Singapore or Indonesia. You can study with some of the best teachers in the world. Mimi says, how long does the e2language.com membership last? Mimi, 3 months, 90 days. So quite a long time. And if it expires and you want to renew it, just send me an email and I'll do you a little kindness and extend your membership. Sumit says, expert feedback is only while buying the tutorial session. Yes, correct, Sumit. So the expert feedback comes in the tutorials because it's one-on-one. It's me and you. I'm not teaching in a classroom with 15 other people. I'm just teaching with Jay and Sumit. So I can look at Sumit's errors and I can correct his work. Haynes says, thanks. Ijaz says, I'm going out of topic again. Talking about, do you have a 4-stage strategy for it? Ijaz, I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. I definitely suggest you sign up and practice a bit of grammar. I don't mean to be rude there, but I can't understand your question. Sid says, do you have paid mock exams? Here's the thing, Sid. Everybody is obsessed with mock exams. Everybody thinks, if I practice the exam, if I just do exam practice, then I will improve. But that is incorrect. It is wrong thinking. You need to build your skills. You need to learn test strategy. Then you should practice the exam. But then you should also get feedback. So there is a 4-part process, Sid. So yes, mock exams are important, and you can do them at ptepractice.com because they are almost identical to the PTE. What we have at e2language.com is a full PTE exam, but much more than that. We've got the essay writing videos, we've got the grammar lessons, we've got the pronunciation practice app, we've got the word lists, we've got the tutorials, and we've got the webinars. So if you're serious about improving, I don't suggest just doing test practice. I suggest doing a holistic preparation cycle. Mohammed's interested in retail lecture. Yes, all right, I'll think about a webinar for that. Shraddha says, how can we get membership? Go to e2language.com. If you're an existing free student, you just click the upgrade button, pull out your credit card, pay the membership fee, and you're on your way to success. Shazia says, which package you might suggest for those who's going to attempt PTE first time? Shazia, if it's the first time, then possibly package 1 that gives you this skills assessment where one of the teachers meets you for 15 minutes, sits down with you on Skype, looks at your skills, and recommends a study plan. That's what we do. We recommend you a study plan. So definitely, Shazia, as a first step, I suggest package 1. If you're weak in grammar and vocabulary, etc., then you can always upgrade further, but start with package 1. Danny says, how could we get the old PTE webinars? Danny, if you're a paid member, you get access to the webinar archives. Nishant says, how much do I have to pay for access to e2language.com? Nishant, package 1 is $129 US. If you're in Australia, that's about 170 Australian dollars. That gives you full access to the course, gives you all the grammar, vocabulary, essay writing, pronunciation, word lists, etc. Also gives you a skills assessment tutorial and a tutorial on this task of your choice, plus full access to the webinar archives. There's package 2 where you get 3 tutorials and package 3 where you get 5 tutorials. Yes, it's all at e2language.com. Mohammed says, what are the differences in packages in E2Language? Well, the main difference, Mohammed, is the number of tutorials that you have with a teacher. Okay, remember these are extremely powerful, and in 40 minutes, we can do what it takes 10 hours in a language classroom. Okay, so in package 1, you get 1 tutorial. If you're weak in writing, for example, you can focus on writing. But if you're weak in more than 1 skill, I suggest signing up to package 2, where you receive 3 tutorials. And if you're very low, I suggest package 3. Mohammed says, I always get low marks in speaking, so when package should I choose? Mohammed, if you're unsure, sign up to package 1. We can take it from there. But if you are failing the PTE, you need to do something about it. You can't just think that if you keep taking it, you'll get a better score. That's not how it works. You need to improve your skills. You may need expert feedback. You probably do. The tutorials are 40 minutes in length, but you also get a 15-minute skills assessment. Raghuvaran says, how could I book for the tutorials once I upgrade my package? It's very simple, Raghu. We send you a link to a calendar and you choose the day and the time that suits you for your tutorial, and the e2language.com teacher meets you at the time of your choice. Very simple 3-click process. Shraddha says, is there any way to communicate with me besides e2language.com? No. I'm an e2language.com teacher. I believe in this product. I think it's good. And I'd be happy to talk to you through e2language.com. Okay, Jagpreet says, I'm currently on 60, a score of PTE 60. How much time does it take for me to reach 79 with your study packages? Okay, Jagpreet, you're talking about a 19-point difference there. That's significant. I hate to tell you, but that is a significant difference. If you were 5 points off, I would recommend package 1 with 1 tutorial. But if you're 20 points off the score that you need, I strongly recommend package 2 or package 3. Okay? And I'm quite serious about that. It's very difficult to boost yourself 20 points with 1 tutorial. Okay, Mohammed's 10 points off his speaking. Again, I suggest you upgrade. Okay, we've come to the end. And unbelievably, about 95% of you have stayed the entire length of this webinar. I'm very thankful. I'm glad you attended. I hope it was helpful. Writing is a complex thing to do, and the right essay can be complex. But if you follow these methods, what I described, it can simplify what you need to do, okay? I will probably post this webinar on YouTube, so you can feel free to watch it again. If you do watch it, I encourage you to like it and share it and comment on it, because it helps e2language.com to grow, and it helps anyone taking the PTE to get the score they need, okay? So thank you very much for attending. There are a few more questions. You can always email me your questions, okay? My email address is j@e2language.com. Thank you very much for attending, and I will see you shortly, and hopefully I'll see you online. See you later.